using it. Now let us listen from Janab Zafar Khan. Yes, uh, yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I apologize for joining a bit late.
No,
Uh, I'm traveling, so it's a bit difficult at the moment. I hope you're well, and I thank you all for joining this session. Um, if I may share this PPT. Um, Today I'm going to talk about an interesting concept which happens at our school and which usually happens at every school, but the way we do it differently. I'm going to talk about the differences of how we are doing it at Roots and Wings Academy. It is an experiential school where we believe in doing things with the students and at the same time giving them life experiences for life skills. So I hope we all go for the field trips with the students. If you're able to see the screen, can I see your thumbs up? Okay, yes. So, um, how are we incorporating this field trip at our school? So, point number one, we do seven field trips in a particular year. Point number two, if one class is going at one place, it is not necessary that the other class will also go to the same place. For example, if we choose a monument to go for the field trip, so it is likely that grade 9 has relevance with their syllabus, but grade 10 will not be taken there, or grade 7 will not be taken there. Like that, we don't have field trip for everyone at one location. Let's go into details of this. As I said, we have seven field trips in a particular year, so we have to plan that well in advance for the students. So if I may ask you, what is your definition of travel? Travel is a dash. What will you fill in here? Can you write in the chat box for everyone to see? Travel is a dash. Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you so much. Subhanallah. So we have so many different answers for travel. Travel is, all right, joyful moment, experience, learning, relaxation, so many different answers to this. Um, for us, of course, travel is an experience, but travel is a learning experience that we pay and get something out of it. Usually, when we pay, we spend, but here with travel, we get something out of it. So, can you recall your school picnic? where you went as a child in your school, location, the fees that you spent on it, friends, and the learning from it. All right. So I hope, okay, we have hands-on experience, mind-provoking, relaxation. If you want, you can share your answer to these questions here, or you can also unmute yourself and answer this. When I was a student, I remember the location of our field trip was a sugar factory. The fees, what was taken at that time in the year 2000 was about, I believe, 200 rupees. Well, it was not very much, considering that the sugar factory is 60 kilometers from our school. We enjoyed a lot. I learned something about the sugar making process. Now, as a professional, let us recall the previous school field trip. Number one, how we decide the location, what is the fees taken, the groups or grades which we plan to take, grade 1 to 4, grade 5 to 6, grade 6 to 10, and how we plan the learnings out of it. So I'm sure we do this homework while taking a field trip. Now, the big question is for us as teachers, where are we going? You see, one of these.
Planetarium, sir.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much. Now, this question arises at the beginning of every year. We have to decide, we have to plan numerous field trips, numerous places, and then zero in on 7 trips for every year. So, how do we do it? Number one, we decide the learning objectives, aligning them with the curriculum. Our field trips are well connected to the curriculum. The goals, what we have for them, educational goals, life skill goals. For example, when we go to an orphanage, when we go to an old age home, we want them to empathize with the people over there, with the kids, with the old age people. So it may be about identifying things, it may be about learning through observation. The other important thing, this Shahganj clock tower is actually a place in Aurangabad where I live, and it is a beautiful clock tower in a busy marketplace. So we need to know the facts about our visit. As a teacher, as a school, we have to plan what our students are going to learn over there. And how am I going to integrate that learning with education? Number one, direct association, direct connection with the syllabus. If at all that is mentioned in the syllabus, bingo, we can directly go ahead with that. If it is not directly related to it, we have to plan the learning objectives. Then, hands-on experience. What are we going to provide to the students? For example, as I said, if we are going to an orphanage, so what is the opportunity we are giving to the students? How am I going to make it an experiential learning for my students? There's so many things based on which I have to select the location of our students' field trip. Here, I must tell you that we do not decide the fees because we don't charge the fees to students. The fees for field trips is already included in the school fees package. 7 field trips are decided, so we don't take the students wherever we want to know. We have to particularly plan those field trips so that everybody gets that opportunity to be a part of the field trip. Sometimes we just announce the dates, sometimes we don't announce the dates. We just bingo whenever we are ready. The students may not be informed well in advance. I'll discuss this if we have the questions at the end of the session. But we do have to consider the accessibility, how far it's going to be. Is it safe for the students to take there, the time of the year, the location of the place, the cost? Because as I said, the students are not going to bear that cost directly at that particular time. So even if I love the Dubai Museum, I cannot take my students over there. So I have to be considerate towards my school as well. The logistical arrangements, even if it is affordable, can I actually come back within the school hours? Is it, I mean, is it the time, is it allowed? Because we cannot ask the parents to come and pick the students, especially if they have 4 students studying in our school and 2 students are in those grades which are going for the field trip, to pick these 2 students up after 2 3 hours. So we have to plan the field trips during the school time, starting from 8 to 2 p.m. That's why logistics play an important role. We do a lot of research for our field trips. I mean, earlier it used to happen, we used to have so many places listed up and we used to take one place at a time. But now we have settled down on few places for each grade. Those 7 places have been identified. So once a student is in grade 4, we know he is going there, grade 5 is going there, something like that. This is a very important monument in Aurangabad, that is Daulatabad Fort. If you Google Daulatabad Fort, so it is one of the very few forts in India which have never been conquered by force, or it has never been conquered in war. So it has great historical significance. I select the location based on their history, based on their cultural importance, and based on their scientific significance. For example, if I want to show some research to the students, we may go to industries, factories. If we want them to explore monuments, if we want them to explore public facilities like railway station, bus stand, we take the students to railway stations. It depends on the grade what we are taking to. We need to have information, first-hand information about those places, the activities, what we are going to do there with the students over there. If we are going to have a drawing activity, if we are going to conduct an interview over there, for example, as I told you about the railway station. So our students conducted interview of the station master at the railway station. That gives them a first-hand experience of the railway station. What programs, what special facilities are available at the destination? So we need all those details about the place. And if there's any specific permission needed, a couple of times it has happened with us. We took the places for granted. We directly went to the railway station, and surprise, the station master didn't allow us because we used to believe that earlier we were allowed on the spot. Spontaneously, the station master welcomed our students. So, in that context, last time it so happened that he did not allow. So, we had to make a couple of phone calls, specially request him, sir, please allow our students to visit. That was a sort of problematic situation. So, if we want to avoid that, special permissions must be sought before arriving at that destination. Um, this is one of our field trips. Like we went to an industrial setup. We have to plan transportation. We have not yet taken a field trip overnight. No, we don't do that. Because as I said, we take the field trips during the school hours, 8 to 2, that's it. Sometimes it may happen that the students may be late 4 or 5 p.m., but usually no. And overnight trips, I'm strictly against it. It was only Hyderabad and Chennai, the OMIAT programs. It was a competition, so we had to make special arrangements. We had to discuss with the organizers about the overnight stays. But if there are meals, you have to plan that. If the students are going to bring their own food, are we providing them with some snacks or something? What is going to be the emergency procedure? How are we going to arrange special needs? This is what we do before every field trip. As I said, this is the BB Ka Maqbara. I request the participants to mute themselves if at all. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, this is what we do before our field trips. We have pre-reading sessions. We have pre-writing, or we discuss the location with the students. We try to build the background knowledge just to stimulate their curiosity and make them anticipate what they are going to see at that place. Uh, During field trip, this is what we do: a guided tour, like observing the architectural features, historical artifacts, cultural aspects of the mausoleum. Actually, this is a Bibi Ka Maqbara. Bibi Ka Maqbara is a historical monument here in Aurangabad. It is a replica of the Taj Mahal, and just like Taj Mahal, it also has a mausoleum, a grave inside the main structure. So, what are the cultural aspects? If the students should take the notes, if we are going to provide them with the notes, how are we going to explore the building? Interesting facts about that place. We do allow and we encourage sketching. We ask them to draw. Recently, we have also given them a notebook. They should maintain a notebook of their field trip. It will be a nice way of keeping the memories for the trips that they have gone to. After the trip is done, we do group discussions. We do reflection on the session, and how are we going to take it further? That is going to be our action plan. For example, as I said, Bibi Ka Maqbara. These are the questions what we usually ask the students. What did you learn about the historical and cultural significance of Maqbara? These are the questions, and the answers were given to them on the trip. So, while asking these questions at the end of the field trip, we make sure that the students had learned something out of the field trip. And this is how we create reflection. Right, and usually this presentation is part of our teachers training workshop, what we do with the teachers at the beginning of each year. If we have new teachers joining with us, we give them this training and then do this workshop with them. We ask them to make a new field trip plan with us. So if you think we should go ahead and make a field trip plan here during the session, we can do that. Or else we can have questions. If you have questions about this, how we are doing this, or something like that, we can have that. I still have 8 minutes remaining with me.
Safety. For safety, what are the precautions taken? Safety of the students during school. It is more
Sir,
important.
yeah, definitely. Number one, the transportation is on us. So we have to make sure that the students are going in safe transport. Number two, if at all there are special safety gears needed at that field trip, jackets or helmets, we have to make sure that each one of them has it. Um, Something like that. Whatever is needed at the trip, at the location, we have to plan that well in advance. And number two, yes, we don't go very far away from the school. We have to make sure that the trip is in the vicinity, like 30, 40 kilometers from the school, not very far. You can write the questions in the chat box as well.
Have we to take permission from the state board or state for tours?
Usually, no, we cannot take the permission. I mean, there are specific places where the educational board of our city should be informed that the number of students are going to go for the field trip at one location. But as we have integrated this into our system, it becomes really taxing and difficult to inform the organization, to inform the Zilla Parishad or educational department about so many field trips. So we don't do it for every field trip.
Teachers, you can ask questions regarding this because all schools are taking their students to PhD. You may be having some doubt. Sir is giving practically.
One question, one problem that is with this program is how can we do 7 field trips in a year? 7 field trips are a bit too much to do for the students. But yes, it is important for the students to be taken out. Sometimes we even do more field trips than 7. 7 are the minimum what we promise to the parents. We have to incorporate our syllabus with the field trip so that the syllabus is also not compromised because I understand that there are so many things to do in the syllabus, and if we go doing field trips every now and then, it becomes challenging to complete the syllabus. So we have to make sure that we are well connected with that. And sometimes this also helps in maintaining school discipline. How? The students are I mean, the reward and punishment criteria is created in such a way that if any student misbehaves for a certain period of time, let us say that if he is repeating the misbehavior, so we punish them by not taking them to the field trip and then informing the parents if the child does not maintain discipline, all right, he will not be taken on the field trip. So it helps us in that also.
Principal Vijayalakshmi ma'am is there. She will be having practical problems and tips to share. Vijayalakshmi ma'am.
Yeah, and if you have suggestions for us, I mean, we can take your suggestions also. No, we don't have internal marks for the field trips. No, not at the moment. It is not a criteria for it.
Okay, so let us wind up. Sir has given very important points. Usually, schools only one trip. Most of the schools arrange only one trip outside as field trip. But Sir's school is planning 6, 7. It is a great thing, and it involves a lot of precautions and all that. So Sir says for field trips, we have to consider the factors like accessibility, safety, cost, logistic arrangements, etc. So all these factors we have to take into account. And for field trips, we have to see that it is useful for them. So the location must be directly related to the learning objectives. Very important points Sir has shared. So it should not be only for the enjoyment and sightseeing, but some learning objectives also must be achieved. And hands-on experimental learning should be given. That is, provision should be there. So only making such things, the field trip will become a very effective one. So thank you very much, sir. We have invited you. It is Tahajjud time, and we have troubled you for this. And
No,
sir is giving practical things to do for us. So hope the school management and principals will take a clue from these points and have such things in their curriculum also. So with this, the program comes to an end. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanallahumma bihamdika, ashhadu la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa Again, we'll meet tomorrow, Sunday, for Tamil session.